Welcome to a world of darkness. Before we begin, subscribe and summon your courage to like the video. Brace yourselves for a tale that will chill you to the core. Let's descend into the darkness together. The ocean has always been a place of mystery, a vast expanse where the line between myth and reality blurs. I am Captain Alex Rutherford, and I command the submarine, Neptune's Shadow Asterisk. We were to explore a trench deeper than any we dared before, but nothing could have prepared us for what lay beyond the reach of the sun's fingers. As we descended, the light from above faded, leaving us in an oppressive darkness that seemed to press against the hull. The sonar pinged a structure ahead, massive and sprawling, an impossibility in this abyssal plain. My heart raced as the outline of a sunken city came into view, its eerie spires casting shadows even in the blackness. The first thing I noticed was the silence. It was a silence that seemed to scream, filling the sub with the weight of 1,000 whispers. The crew's faces were bathed in the soft glow of the control panels, each of us silently questioning the same thing. Had we truly found a city beneath the waves? "Captain, you need to see this," my first mate called out, breaking the trance. The radar displayed life forms, impossibly large, moving with purpose through the ruins. I ordered the lights to be dimmed. We were not alone. We maneuvered closer, the city's architecture becoming clearer. It was ancient, predating any civilization we knew. Then, the unthinkable happened. From the darkness, eyes reflected our lights back at us, hundreds of them, unblinking and calculating. The crew panicked, but I held firm. "Steady," I whispered, though my voice trembled. The creatures moved closer, their forms obscured by the murky water. They were curious, or perhaps hungry. The sonar began to wail as something colossal approached. The sub shook violently, metal groaning under the strain. We were being dragged down by an unseen force, deeper into the city's clutches. Screams echoed as I struggled to maintain control. The pressure gauges spiraled wildly as we descended further than any sub was meant to go. And then, silence. We had landed, the city's secrets waiting just beyond the hull. I donned my diving suit, the only volunteer to venture outside. The city loomed before me, its buildings warped by time and pressure. I moved through the streets, the feeling of being watched never leaving me. The city was alive in a way that defied nature. Structures pulsed with a bioluminescent glow, and I realized the city itself was a creature, the monstrous inhabitants, its antibodies, and we had trespassed into its domain. I found carvings on the walls, telling of a civilization that had sunk itself to escape something even more terrifying above. My blood ran cold as I understood. We were not the hunters here, but the prey. A shadow moved in the corner of my vision, and I turned to face the horror I had only glimpsed before. It was a mirror, reflecting my own terror back at me. The city didn't house monsters, it revealed them within us. We returned to the surface, forever changed. The sun seemed less bright, the sky less vast. We had touched the darkness of the deep sea and carried it back with us. The world celebrated our return, but we knew the truth. The abyss had gazed into us, and we were found wanting. The real horror wasn't below the waves, it was the darkness within our own souls. The city's grip on my psyche tightened with each step. The darkness was oppressive, a physical entity that seemed to breathe along the nape of my neck. I stumbled upon a plaza, the center of which stood a statue, not of any being I could recognize, but an amalgamation of horror and beauty, a testament to the city's alien gods. The crew's voices crackled through the radio, a lifeline back to humanity. They spoke of shadows shifting against the sub's floodlights, of shapes too grotesque for the human mind to hold. I felt a pull, an urge to gaze into the abyss that had claimed this place. I found myself drawn to a structure that towered above the rest, a temple perhaps. Its doors were adorned with symbols that seemed to move, to whisper secrets meant only for the depths. Inside, the water was warmer, as if the city itself exhaled breaths of life long extinct. The temple's inner sanctum held an altar, and upon it, relics that hummed with an ancient power. I reached out, compelled by a force beyond my understanding, and the moment my fingers brushed the artifacts, the city stirred. A tremor shook the foundations of the sunken city, sending clouds of silt swirling around me. The creatures, once mere watchers, now converged on my location with purpose. Their forms were indistinct, but their intent was clear. The radio erupted with screams. The Neptune's shadow asterisk was under attack, the hull compromised by the relentless assault of the city's guardians. I was torn between the urge to flee and the realization that there was no escape from the revelations of the deep. In a moment of clarity, I understood the city's demand. It required a tribute, a soul to join its eternal vigil in the darkness. With a heavy heart, I offered myself, disconnecting the radio to spare my crew the sound of my end. As the creatures drew near, I closed my eyes and awaited the inevitable. But instead of death, I felt a transformation. My body dissolved, my consciousness expanding into the city itself. I had become part of the abyss, forever a sentinel of its secrets. The Neptune's shadow asterisk returned to the surface, -1. The crew spoke little of what transpired, the memory too raw, too alien for words. They knew the truth of my fate, but to the world, I was a casualty of the deep. The ocean's surface belied the horrors that lay beneath, a veneer of tranquility over an unfathomable nightmare. And I, once a man, now a whisper in the dark, a chilling reminder of what awaits those who dare to uncover the ocean's deepest secrets. The city was silent once more, but the silence was different. It was expectant, waiting for something to fill it. I floated through the streets, no longer a man but a wisp of consciousness. I could feel the city's heartbeat, slow and deliberate, a rhythm that spoke of eons. The crew's voices were distant now, a reminder of a life I once knew. They spoke of returning home, of the things they would do, the people they would see. But their words were hollow to me now. I had transcended humanity and its concerns. The creatures of the deep began to gather, forming a circle around the city's central spire. They were not the mindless beasts I had feared, but the city's children, its protectors. They began to sing, a haunting melody that resonated through the water and into my very essence. The song told of the city's history, of the countless civilizations it had outlived. It was a lament, a mourning for the worlds that had been, and the inevitable end of all things. As the song faded, a new understanding settled within me. I was the city's guardian now, tasked with keeping its secrets and bearing witness to the slow march of time. It was a lonely existence, but there was a certain peace in it. I watched as the Neptune's shadow asterisk ascended, a speck of metal against the vastness of the ocean. My former life was over, but my new purpose was clear. I was to be the eternal sentinel, the keeper of the abyss. Days turned into weeks, and weeks into months. The world above moved on, but I remained, ever vigilant. The city showed me visions of the surface, of the life I had left behind. But they were just shadows, echoes of a reality I could no longer touch. The ocean's surface was a lie, a mask that hid the true face of the world. Beneath it lay the truth in all its terrifying glory. And I was its witness. I could feel it, a pull from the depths, a call to join the city in its eternal slumber. But I resisted. My duty was to watch, to remember, and to warn. For the city was not just a relic of the past. It was a harbinger of what was to come. The deep sea was a place of darkness and wonder, a realm where the line between life and death blurred. And I was its voice, a whisper in the dark, calling out to those who would listen. In the quiet of the abyss, whispers carried across the currents, tales of the city's past and warnings of the future. I listened, the voices becoming clearer with each passing moment. They spoke of a time when the city was above the waves, a beacon of civilization and knowledge. The whispers grew louder, a cacophony of voices that filled the ocean. They told of a great cataclysm, a disaster that had sent the city to the depths. And they spoke of another disaster yet to come, one that would shake the very foundations of the world. The creatures of the deep gathered around me, their eyes glowing in the darkness. They were not the monsters I had feared. They were the last remnants of the city's inhabitants, transformed by the pressures of the deep. They showed me visions of their lives before the fall, of the beauty and splendor of their city. And they showed me the truth of what had happened, the terrible price they had paid for their hubris. The world above went about its business, unaware of the truth that lay beneath the waves. They lived in blissful ignorance, not knowing the danger that lurked in the depths. I watched as ships passed overhead, their sonar pings a faint echo in the vastness of the ocean. They were searching for something, but they would never find it. The city was hidden, its secrets safe with me. I stood watch over the city, a silent guardian of its history and its future. The creatures of the deep were my companions, their songs a comfort in the endless night. The city was a living thing, its heartbeat slow and steady. It was waiting, biding its time until the world was ready to hear its story. A voice called out to me, a voice from the world above. It was a call to return, to share the city's secrets with those who could understand. But I knew it was not yet time. The world was not ready for the truth of the deep. And so I remained, the guardian of the abyss, waiting for the day when the city would rise again. The city was more than a structure. It was a living memory, a repository of countless lives and stories. I could hear them all, the silent screams of a civilization lost to time. They echoed through the water, a haunting symphony of despair and longing. I felt their pain, their sorrow. It was a burden I now carried, a weight that pressed down on me with the force of the ocean itself. But I bore it willingly, for I was the keeper of their legacy. The abyss was not just a place, it was a state of being. It was the darkness within us all, the part of our souls that we feared to confront. The city was a mirror, reflecting back the parts of ourselves we wished to forget. I had faced that darkness, embraced it, and in doing so, I had found a strange kind of peace. For in the depths, away from the light of the surface, the truth was laid bare. The tides of the deep were changing, a new current that whispered of things to come. I could feel it, a shift in the very fabric of the ocean. Something was awakening, something ancient and powerful. The city was calling to me, its voice a siren song that pulled at my very essence. It was time for the truth to be revealed, for the world to see what lay hidden in the depths. The ocean roared, a tempest that churned the water into a frenzy. The city trembled, its spires swaying in the current. The creatures of the deep gathered, their eyes fixed on the surface. The storm was a harbinger, a sign of the coming revelation. The city would rise again, its secrets laid bare for all to see. And I would be its herald. The world above was waking up, the veil of ignorance slowly lifting. They were beginning to see, to understand the truth of the deep. And with that understanding came fear. But it was not a fear of the unknown. It was a fear of themselves, of the darkness they carried within. The city was a reminder, a warning of what could happen when that darkness was allowed to grow unchecked. The city's call grew stronger, a pulse that resonated with the core of the earth. The creatures of the deep aligned in formation, their bodies illuminating the city in a spectral dance of light and shadow. I watched, my consciousness intertwined with the city's essence as the ocean floor began to quake. The city was ascending, its spires breaking through the water's surface, revealing its majesty to the awestruck world above. The surface dwellers watched in disbelief as the city emerged, a relic of a time long forgotten. Their fear turned to wonder, their wonder to an insatiable hunger for knowledge. Satellites and cameras turned their lenses to the rising city, broadcasting its image across the globe. The world was united in its curiosity, its desire to unlock the city's mysteries. As the Guardian, I felt a pang of trepidation. The city's secrets were not meant for the faint of heart. I had to make a choice, to share the wisdom of the depths or to protect humanity from truths they might not be ready to face. The city awaited my decision, its fate and that of the world above in my ethereal hands. The burden of knowledge was mine to bear and mine to bestow. I chose to reveal the city's secrets, to offer its wisdom to those who sought it. The city's history poured forth, a torrent of memories and lessons learned from millennia of existence. The world listened, captivated by the tales of civilizations that had risen and fallen, of the cycles of life and the importance of balance. The city's message was clear: cherish the world, for it is fragile. With the city's secrets laid bare, the world changed. People looked to the ocean with new eyes, with respect and a sense of stewardship. The city, once a guardian of the past, became a beacon for the future. And I, its eternal sentinel, watched over the new dawn, my task complete. As the final echoes of horror fade into the void and the darkness claims its dominion once more, remember to cling to the light by subscribing to our channel and invoking the dread upon the like button below. In the realm of nightmares, your support is our only salvation. Until we meet again, dear viewers, may you find solace in the fleeting moments of peace amidst the eternal night.